There comes a moment in every believer's life when you must stop waiting for blessings to find you and begin commanding the blessing that already belongs to you. You are not called to live life as a passive observer, hoping that something good might eventually happen. You are called to rise up with boldness, with spiritual authority, with the certainty that heaven listens when you speak. God never designed you to walk through each day uncertain, intimidated, or powerless. He designed you to speak His promises, activate His word, and command the blessing that has already been prepared for your life. Every day, life presents you with two voices. One voice speaks fear, limitation, impossibility, and defeat. The other voice speaks faith, power, authority, and victory. You cannot remain silent and expect the voice of darkness to disappear. You overcome the negative voice not by wishing, not by hoping, but by commanding. There is supernatural power in your words. When you command according to God's truth, heaven backs you. Angels respond, barriers break, delays dissolve, blessings begin to move in your direction. You must understand this spiritual law. What you command consistently becomes the atmosphere you live in. When you speak life, you attract life. When you speak abundance, you magnetize abundance. When you declare peace, chaos loses its authority. When you command blessing, blessing begins to take shape around you. Nothing in the kingdom of God moves without a spoken word. Creation itself began with God saying, "Let there be." And if your Father created the universe through words, why would He expect you to live silently? You are made in His image. You carry His breath. You carry His authority. What you speak carries weight in the Spirit. But to command your blessing, you must break the habit of waking up and accepting whatever the day brings. Too many people start the morning checking their phone, checking their worries, checking their feeling, but not checking their spirit. You must rise and command the day before the day commands you. Before your emotions speak, speak. Before fear whispers, declare. Before doubt stirs, prophesy. Before circumstances show you their face, show them yours. You must stand and say, "This is my day. I command favor, I command strength, I command peace, I command provision, I command divine opportunities to come forth." Commanding your blessing is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are aligning your earthly words with heaven's will. You are not telling God what to do. You are declaring what God has already promised. Heaven assigns what you affirm. Faith declares. Faith commands. Faith does not sit quietly and wait for the atmosphere to shift. Faith transforms the atmosphere. Every day you must command your thoughts. Command clarity over confusion. Command calmness over anxiety. Command courage over fear. Many people allow their mind to run wild, but your mind is not supposed to be your master. It is supposed to be your servant. You must tell your mind how to think before it tells you how to feel. You must declare, "My mind is blessed, my thoughts are blessed, my decisions are blessed. Wisdom flows to me, creativity flows through me, peace surrounds me." When you command your mind, you silence the enemy's greatest battleground. Every day you must command your body. Speak strength into your bones. Speak energy into your spirit. Speak healing into your cells. Even in moments of weakness, declare, "I am strong, I am whole, I am protected. I walk under divine health." Do not let your body dictate your destiny. Command your body to align with the divine design God created it to have. Every day you must command your finances. Too many believers fear money instead of commanding blessing over it. Speak increase, speak abundance, speak supernatural provision. Declare that resources are locating you, that doors of opportunity are opening, that what was blocked is now flowing. Tell your finances what they will do. Support your vision, fuel your purpose, and honor God. Every day you must command your relationships. Speak unity over your home. Speak favor with people. Speak protection over your family. Declare that every toxic influence is removed, every divine connection is strengthened, and that peace reigns wherever you go. But most importantly, command your spirit. Before you walk into the day, speak over your inner man. Declare, "My spirit is strong, my faith is unshakable, my hope is alive, my joy is overflowing. No weapon formed against me will prosper. I walk in the blessing, I carry the blessing, and I release the blessing everywhere I go." My friend, commanding your blessing is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle. It is a daily spiritual discipline. You do not plant a seed once and expect a lifetime harvest. You water it. You nurture it. You speak over it until it manifests. In the same way, you must command blessing every day until your life reflects what God has spoken over you. Do not wait for the blessing. Call it. Do not wait for the breakthrough. Command it. Do not wait for the miracle. Declare it. Do not wait for your season. Speak it into existence. Everything God has prepared for you is already finished in heaven. Your command brings it into the earth. Your words unlock what has been waiting for you. Your declaration opens the gate of blessing. God has put the authority in your mouth, the power in your spirit, and the promise in your future. So rise up every morning and command your blessing, because the blessing is already yours. Your words are not ordinary sounds passing through the air. They are spiritual tools, divine instruments, creative forces that shape the environment around you. Many people live as if words are harmless or insignificant, but in the spiritual realm, words are commands, signals, and seeds. What you consistently speak becomes what eventually grows in your life. This is why Scripture shows again and again that God never acted without first speaking. He did not form light, oceans, mountains, or life with his hands. He formed them with his voice. And because you are made in his image, your words carry a similar creative capacity. Every time you open your mouth, you are either building your future or weakening it, activating blessing or empowering limitation. Most people underestimate the authority God has placed in their mouth. They pray, but after prayer they speak fear and expect faith to work. They ask God for increase, but then declare shortage. They ask for healing, but then speak sickness. The mouth is often the greatest contradiction to their own prayers. Your words reveal which kingdom you are agreeing with. When your words align with fear, you empower the enemy. When your words align with faith, you activate the power of God. The spiritual world responds not to your feelings, but to your declarations. You cannot speak like a victim and live like a victor. You cannot speak defeat and walk in destiny. The language of your life must match the promise of God if you want to see his blessing manifest in your world. Every day you are surrounded by invisible forces: doubt, discouragement, negativity, fear, delay, confusion. And these forces wait for your response. They cannot gain authority over your life on their own. They need your agreement. When you speak their language, they gain strength. When you reject their influence and declare God's truth, they lose their grip. This is why your words are not just sounds. They are weapons. You fight spiritual battles not with physical strength, but with spiritual statements. You fight darkness by declaring light. You fight lack by declaring provision. You fight weakness by declaring strength. Your words shift the atmosphere long before your circumstances catch up. Your words also shape your internal world. They discipline your mind, regulate your emotions, and strengthen your heart. Many people speak carelessly, not realizing their words are feeding their fears and starving their faith. Every "I can't" becomes a chain. Every "nothing ever changes" becomes a ceiling. Every "I'm tired of this" becomes a roadblock. But when you begin to speak intentionally, "I am strong, I am favored, things are shifting for me, God is working behind the scenes," you begin to shift your internal chemistry. Your mind starts to follow your mouth. Your emotions begin to align with your declarations. Your confidence rises. Your fear weakens. You begin to think the way heaven thinks, see the way heaven sees, and believe the way heaven believes. Your words also influence the spiritual atmosphere around your home, your workplace, your relationships, and your daily environment. Blessing does not randomly happen. It is cultivated through spiritual atmosphere. A home filled with complaining, arguing, negativity, criticism, and fear cannot grow blessing. But a home filled with thanksgiving, faith, declaration, worship, and expectation becomes a magnet for divine presence. Your words invite heaven or allow heaviness. They can stir peace or create tension. They can calm storms or feed chaos. You have more control over the atmosphere around you than you think, but that control comes from your mouth. Your words are also seeds planted into your future. What you speak today becomes the harvest you live in tomorrow. If you constantly declare, "I never have enough," don't be surprised when shortage follows you. If you constantly say, "People always mistreat me," you are reinforcing that reality. But when you begin to declare blessing consistently, even before you see it, you are planting seeds that your future must respond to. You speak increase before it arrives. You declare favor before it manifests. You call in opportunities before they appear. This is not pretending. This is spiritual law. Faith speaks what it knows to be true in the spirit long before it becomes visible in the natural. Your words must also align with identity. God created you to rule, not to bow to fear. He designed you to speak with dominion, not hesitation. Spiritual authority grows stronger when you speak from identity, when you declare who you are according to God, not according to circumstances. When you say, "I am blessed," you are not describing a moment. You are declaring a position. When you say, "I am favored," you are not reacting to events. You are affirming your covenant. When you say, "I walk in abundance," you are not relying on your bank account. You are relying on heaven's provision. Your words must flow from who God says you are, not from what the world tries to make you believe. Your words are also daily commands. Each morning before the world speaks, you speak. Before fear whispers, you declare. Before uncertainty rises, you release truth. If you do not command your day will command you. If you do not speak blessing, life will speak disappointment. If you do not declare victory, the enemy will try to plant defeat. You must begin each day with a spiritual announcement, calling forth strength, calling forth clarity, calling forth joy, calling forth opportunities, calling forth divine connections, calling forth protection, calling forth the blessing that God already assigned to your life. Your words are not empty expressions, they are containers of power. They carry life, authority, atmosphere, and direction. When you speak intentionally, consistently, and in alignment with God's promises, you begin to command your world instead of reacting to it. This is why your words matter. This is why your declarations matter. This is why speaking blessing every day is not optional. It is essential. Through your words, you create the path that your life will walk on. Through your words, you build the foundation for the blessing you desire to see. Through your words, you activate the spiritual realm to work in your favor. Your words carry the power to shift everything around you and everything within you. Before the sun rises, before the noise of the world grows loud, before your emotions wake up and try to dictate your day, you must open your mouth and take spiritual command. Too many people walk into each day unprepared, unguarded, and spiritually silent. They let the day decide the direction of their thoughts, their mood, their reactions, and their expectations. But when you live this way, you live beneath your authority. You live defensively instead of victoriously. You live reacting to life instead of shaping it. Every believer must learn that if you do not command your day will begin to command you. Every morning, spiritual forces are waiting to influence your steps. Fear is waiting to whisper discouragement. Doubt is waiting to weaken your decisions. Distractions are waiting to steal your focus. Pressure is waiting to drain your strength. You cannot walk into the day hoping you will automatically feel strong, peaceful, or focused. You must speak these things into existence before anything else tries to shape them. You must become the voice that rises above the noise, the voice that sets the tone, the voice that announces what the day will deliver. You cannot leave your joy, your peace, your focus, your clarity, or your blessing up to chance. You must speak to your morning and command what God has declared. Every day carries a spiritual atmosphere. If you allow the atmosphere to form on its own, it will almost always drift toward negativity, stress, or heaviness. The world is full of tension, pressure, and voices that pull you out of alignment. But when you command your day, you establish a spiritual temperature that everything else must adjust to. You begin the morning by deciding what kind of environment you are going to walk in. You declare peace before chaos has a chance to rise. You declare strength before weakness tries to settle in. You declare success before challenges appear. You declare blessing before obstacles show their face. By doing this, you are not ignoring reality, you are shaping it. Commanding your day is not about controlling every event. It's about controlling your spiritual posture. You may not decide what happens around you, but you absolutely decide what happens within you. And your internal posture influences everything externally. If you wake up and allow pressure to speak first, you will walk through the day stressed. If you let fear speak first, you will walk through the day hesitant. If you let your feelings speak first, you will walk through the day without direction. But if you command the day before the day speaks, you will walk through your hours with a spiritual strength that cannot be shaken. Speaking over your day builds a spiritual shield around you. Many of the attacks that affect people emotionally, mentally, or spiritually only succeed because they entered the day unprotected. But when you open your mouth and command protection, favor, clarity, and victory, you build a barrier the enemy cannot easily penetrate. You push back spiritual interference. You silence the enemy before he begins speaking. You choose the voice that will lead your day, your voice aligned with God's word. Commanding your day means declaring what heaven has already prepared. It means waking up and saying, "This is a blessed day. I walk in divine favor today. No weapon formed against me will prosper today. God is ordering my steps today. Opportunities are opening for me today. My mind is sharp and clear today. My heart is strong and stable today. Everything connected to my destiny moves closer today." You speak these things not because everything looks perfect, but because you understand your words carry the power to direct your path. You are not speaking for what is, you are speaking for what must come into alignment. When you command your day, you are spiritually stepping ahead of the enemy. He plans distractions, you plan clarity. He plans discouragement, you call forth joy. He plans confusion, you declare wisdom. He plans delay, you speak acceleration. Commanding your day puts you in spiritual leadership over the hours that follow you. Your words become a roadmap that shapes your focus and your actions. You start the day with direction instead of drifting. Commanding your day also trains your mind to look for what you have declared. If you declare favor, your mind becomes alert to opportunities you would have otherwise ignored. If you declare peace, your mind becomes quick to reject stress. If you declare blessing, your heart becomes ready to receive unexpected provision. Speaking over your day awakens spiritual awareness. You begin to recognize divine moments and appointments that others overlook. When you command your day, something powerful happens inside of you. Your spirit rises, confidence grows, doubt weakens, fear loses its voice. The more you speak faith, the more faith becomes your default mindset. The more you declare blessing, the more you expect blessing. The more you command victory, the more victory becomes familiar to your spirit. Commanding your day is not a ritual. It is spiritual training, and every morning is a new opportunity to strengthen your authority. This discipline also teaches you to partner with God. You are not commanding the day in your own power. You are aligning with His promises. You are opening your mouth so heaven can move. God responds to faith-filled declarations. Angels respond to spoken truth. Doors respond to words spoken in authority. Breakthrough responds to persistent declaration. When you command your day, you are reminding the spiritual realm who you belong to, who you trust, and whose authority you carry. Commanding your day is not only about what you say, it is about what you refuse to say. You refuse to begin the day complaining. You refuse to speak fear first thing in the morning. You refuse to let yesterday's pain set the tone for today. You refuse to let circumstances decide your attitude. You refuse to speak anything that does not align with blessing, progress, faith, or peace. The moment you wake up, you choose your language wisely, because your language sets your spiritual direction. When you command your day, you step into every morning with strength, clarity, and expectation. You do not wander into the day, you lead it. You do not react to the day, you shape it. Every sunrise becomes a spiritual assignment to declare what God has already destined, to activate blessing, and to set the tone for everything that follows. This is how you live victorious, focused, and aligned with heaven's purpose, by taking spiritual command before anything else speaks. There comes a moment in every believer's journey when God begins to shift things in a way that does not match your understanding. The ground under your feet moves, the plans you laid out begin to unravel, and what once felt predictable suddenly becomes unfamiliar. In these moments, people often become anxious, confused, or frustrated because they assume disruption means something has gone wrong. But disruption is not always destruction. Many times it is divine redirection. When God begins to shift you, He is not trying to unsettle you. He is positioning you. He is pulling you out of what is too small for you and leading you toward what He has already prepared. The challenge is that the shift rarely looks like progress at first. It often looks like loss, delay, or confusion. But the truth is, God shifts you to lift you. When God begins to change the direction of your life, He often starts by closing doors you would have never closed on your own. These closed doors can feel painful, but they are often God's way of protecting you from settling too low. Sometimes you pray for elevation without realizing you are still holding on to spaces, relationships, habits, and environments that cannot follow you into your next season. So God steps in and removes what you would have kept. He interrupts your comfort so He can introduce your calling. He shifts your path so He can strengthen your purpose. What looks like a setback is actually God removing the ceiling from above you. And while you may not understand immediately, the shift is always evidence that God sees more in you than you see in yourself. Divine shifts also expose what your human plan cannot accomplish. There are moments when everything you tried seems to fall short, not because God is ignoring you, but because He is preparing to do something beyond you. He lets certain strategies fail so you will not become attached to your own strength. He allows certain relationships to fade so you can recognize who truly belongs in the next chapter. He lets certain paths become blocked so you do not walk into a future that limits you. This is why a divine shift often feels uncomfortable. It is stretching your faith, tearing down your limitations, and pushing you into a place where only God can take the credit for what happens next. Every divine shift carries a spiritual purpose. Sometimes it is to grow your character, sometimes to sharpen your obedience, and sometimes to awaken your spiritual sensitivity. When God shifts you, He is not just rearranging your circumstances, He is rearranging you. He is shaping your mindset, renewing your perspective, and teaching you to trust Him in unfamiliar territory. If God allowed your life to remain predictable, your faith would remain shallow. But in the shift, your trust grows deeper. In the shift, your prayer life strengthens. In the shift, your dependence on Him becomes unshakable. You learn to walk without seeing everything clearly. You learn to lean on His voice instead of your own understanding. You learn that even when you cannot trace His hand, you can trust His heart. Divine shifts also reveal hidden strength within you. What you call pressure, God calls preparation. What you call confusion, God calls construction. What you call disruption, God calls destiny. Many people only discover their true capacity when God interrupts their normal. You begin to pray differently. You begin to think differently. You begin to make decisions with more clarity. You begin to recognize that what felt like loss was actually God making room for something greater. A shift always uncovers what God placed inside you long before you even knew it was there. When God shifts you, He also shifts what surrounds you. He begins to bring the right voices into your life. Mentors, opportunities, partnerships, and divine connections you could never have arranged on your own. At the same time, He removes people who cannot handle the weight of your calling. Not everyone can understand your next level. Not everyone can walk with you into your divine assignment. Sometimes God will isolate you so He can elevate you. He will separate you before He shifts you. This separation is not rejection, it is refinement. He is making sure that when He positions you at the level He has prepared, you are surrounded by those who can support your purpose, not sabotage it. Divine shifts also require obedience, even when the details are unclear. God rarely gives a full explanation before He moves you. Instead, He gives instruction. He gives a nudge. He gives a whisper in your spirit. He gives a sense that something must change. And faith means taking the step even when you cannot see the entire staircase. Some people delay their breakthrough because they are waiting for clarity instead of responding to God's prompting. But destiny unfolds in movement, not hesitation. When God shifts you, you must move with Him. Even small steps create supernatural momentum. Even imperfect obedience opens divine doors. A divine shift may move you out of comfort, but it will never move you out of God's care. The same God who disrupts is the same God who directs. The same God who pushes you forward is the same God who walks with you. He shifts you not to confuse you, but to align you. Not to weaken you, but to strengthen you. Not to lose you, but to launch you. When God shifts you, it is because He has already prepared something greater, a greater opportunity, a greater season, a greater level of influence, a greater dimension of purpose, a greater version of you. The shift is not the end of your story. It is the transition to a chapter you were always meant to enter. And when God shifts, He shifts with intention. He shifts with promise. He shifts with purpose. He shifts with vision. He shifts with destiny already written. All He asks is that you trust the movement, embrace the unknown, and walk boldly into what He has prepared. In the end, everything God does, every disruption, every redirection, every closed door and unexpected turn, is part of a divine strategy to bring you into the fullness of who you are meant to be. What may feel confusing right now will one day become clear, because God never shifts you without intention. He never moves you without purpose. He never calls you out of something unless He is calling you into something greater. So do not be afraid of the unfamiliar. Do not resist the change. Do not fight the seasons that no longer fit you. Instead, trust that the God who began the good work in you is guiding your steps with precision. Trust that His plan for you is bigger than what you imagine, stronger than what you see, and more beautiful than anything you could build on your own. Even when you cannot understand the shift, stand firm in the truth that God is preparing you, positioning you, and propelling you toward the destiny He designed long before you took your first breath. This is your moment to rise with faith. This is your moment to walk with courage. This is your moment to surrender to the divine shift and step into the blessing waiting on the other side of your obedience. If you hold on, trust deeply, and move when God moves, you will look back and say, "It was all a setup for glory. God shifted me to lift me."